Question 24. You have 2 over 3x equals negative 4. Then you have a second equation, y minus 2 over 3x equals 2. If the system of equations above is graphed in the xy plane, what is the y coordinate of the point of intersection? We dealt with the meaning of the point of intersection in the previous question. It's the point where the two lines meet. That's this line and this line when graphed in the xy plane. And here in this question, you've been asked to find the y coordinate. We have the first equation as 2 over 3x equals negative 4. And second as y minus 2 over 3x equals 2. If you have a sharp eye, you can easily solve this question. That's the shortcut way. But if not, you'd have to find x first, then you find y. Here you have 2 over 3x equals negative 4. And here you have y minus 2 over 3x equals 2. Using the shortcut method, 2 over 3x equals negative 4. And this is 2 over 3x. You replace this 2 over 3x with this negative 4. So we therefore have y minus, there's a negative here first, then 2 over 3x equals negative 4. So you have negative 4 equals 2. Y, you can put this in brackets. Negative, negative, you can't have this together. You have to resolve them into one. Negative, negative will give you positive. You can say negative times negative will give you positive. Then you have 4. So you have negative, negative 4 as positive 4 equals 2. Y equals 2 plus 4 crosses the equals sign and turns to minus 4. Y equals 2 or plus 2 minus 4. The 4 owns the negative, the 2 has the positive, which is hidden. The number with the negative is greater than the number with the positive. So your answer is definitely going to be negative. It's like you owe more than you have. So you have negative. Then if you pay the 2 you have from the 4 you owe, you still be owing 2. So you have it as negative 2. Y is therefore negative 2. That's A. This is shortcut method of solving this question. You might have to have a very good eye to spot this. Now, you might not pick this method. And if not, you can solve for x first. For equation 1, let's do it by the side. You have 2 over 3x equals negative 4. That's equation 1. You can write it as 2x over 3 equals negative 4. It's allowed. The x will join with the numerator. That's standard. Then you have this as over 1. Standard in math, you say multiply both sides by 3 to get this fraction off. But you can simply cross multiply. So you have 2x times 1. That will give you 2x. Anything times 1 is that same thing. Equals, on the other side, you have 3 times negative 4. 3 times negative 4. You have 2x equals, the 3 has a positive, the 4 has a negative. Positive times negative will give you negative. 3 times 4 will give you 12. You divide both sides by 2 to get the value of x. 2 cancels 2. X equals, this 2 has a positive. So you do negative divided positive will give you negative. Then 12 divided by 2, or 2 in 12, would give you 6. So we have x as negative 6. Once you have x as negative 6, you can then substitute it into the second equation and get the value for y. You've been asked to find the y coordinate. So on this side, we have second equation, which is y minus 2 over 3x equals 2. And x is negative 6. So you have y minus 2 over 3 times negative 6 equals 2. X is negative 6. On the next line, you have y. This 2 over 3 owns this negative. And once you have negative and you're multiplying by a negative, you should be very careful. If this were positive, it won't be technical. But here, this negative 6 makes this technical. So you have negative times negative. That will give you positive. Then you can make this over 1. You can say 3 here 1, 3 in 6, that will give you 2. So you have 2 times 2, you will have 4. We went with the negative times negative first, you got positive. Then we worked with the fraction. Just that simple. Then you have equals 2. Y equals 2 minus 4. Plus 4 crosses the equals sign, it turns to negative 4. Y equals 2 minus 4 will give you negative 2. You see, we have the same results. But this took a shorter time. I know the exam is time-based. So you're expected to spot out questions where you can apply shortcut methods. And if not, you can go through the normal process, but you have to be very fast to save time. And while being fast, you also have to be very diligent to avoid making mistakes.